Hi there folks, welcome back to another video. And for those who've never visited my channel before, basically I'm a senior guy who's living off grid, designing his own affordable situation for living. Well, today's video is going to be all about anchoring my new big home. I call it my big house, which is a 16 by 40 building. The winds I get that come over from the south are extremely powerful, and you never know. So I decided to use the tie-down method that's used primarily with mobile homes. Basically, you use ground stakes or ground augers and metal strapping, which attaches to the skids that support your floor. So what I've discovered is this is one of the toughest jobs I've done here. Why? In a word, caliche. So right here, folks, is the pile of dirt left over from digging my septic system or my septic tank. And you can see the caliche here. Looks innocent enough, but what it is it's fine rock that blends with clay. And over the years, it compacts to be just like cement or not far off. And it's one of the toughest soils you can ever try to dig through. So what I'm using here to anchor my home to the ground, the same as mobile homes and manufactured homes, is this 30-inch double helix ground stake, for lack of better words. Now, the big problem was this: how do you get it in the ground? So after a bit of research on YouTube, I found a company that makes these things. Okay? Now, this is an adapter that fits down in here and gets bolted in place. And what's important is this top end is this little cavity here, or fitting, and that will fit nicely into my fancy big DeWalt half-inch impact wrench. And I'll tell you, there's some learning curves using this type of equipment, and man, I'll tell you, I've been learning. When I put the bolts through here, I didn't have it all snugged up well with washers. I didn't realize how much force there'd be on this, and it just chewed it up. So what did this wonderful company do? Oh, sorry that got all chewed up on you, even though it was my fault. We'll send you another one, bigger and sturdier. So I've been using these 20 volt, 6 amp hour heavy duty batteries. That seems to be doing the trick. So these are 5/8 bolts. And I've got a lock washer on here and some other washers to take up the space in between here, which is important. Well, I wish you folks could have been there to see my first attempt with this setup. I put the impact wrench on 3, which is its most powerful setting, and it spun this so fast and vibrated it so hard that the nuts came off and everything just got strewed all over the dirt and area, and I had to run around and try to find them all. There, that'll do it. I use this little Klein digital angle gauge, and so I just put it on and then just see where 45 degrees is. So now I know right down at this spot at the bottom of this 2x6 is where the stake should go. Not happening. So I'm going to try to take them out. I don't know whether that's even possible. Well, at least I got to back out. We'll have to come up with another plan. If you hit a super hard patch of caliche like I did, I literally had no choice but to dig this down all by hand with a shovel, which was a real workout. I'm hoping there's no more like this one. This one was a tough one. These two I got in a ways. Actually, this one almost all the way in. So I'm going to pull these out and come up with another method. This one's a bit twisted because I took a 2x4 and tried to do a mountain gorilla approach and yanked on it to twist it in the ground. Didn't work, so yeah, this one's a challenge for sure. Removing this auger, and what comes out but this guy? Hope you find another home there, pal, and one where you won't get disturbed. So you can see right here is where the poor frog, the poor amphibian come busting out of here. I vibrated him right out of his home. Ooh, that's hot. I broke this adapter too, unfortunately. What happened, I guess, was these bolt and nut assembly, which was supposed to be super tough, got stripped somehow and got loose, and it literally just pounded this poor tool apart. And this is the heavy-duty tool. So what I didn't do was have really serious washers on these, and I guess that's the missing picture. Oh, look at this. I didn't wreck the tool, I wrecked the auger. So that's great, because it would have taken me several days to get another one of these tools. Yeah, we're here to pump you up, you big flabby baby. Yeah, it's Hans and Franz. Am I Hans or Franz? I don't know. I'll pretend I'm the stronger one. All right, one nut off. There we go. Ouch, hot. There's our famous tool we can use again. We will accomplish this task. So I let the impact driver and tool do all the work, except for I find sometimes I get almost to the very bottom and it doesn't quite finish the job. It's just too deep. So I'll start it with a shovel, and that'll help. And it's cooled off a bit now, even though it'll probably get in the 90s. It's probably in the 80s right now. But 80s isn't a problem. It's the over 100s that slow a person down. Now on this DeWalt impact driver, there's 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. So to start this out, I leave it on level 2, and that then turns in a methodical way, slowly and surely, and the nut and bolt assembly doesn't fly off on level 2 like it does on level 3. Fantastic. All right, so we want this at ground level, and it's there. Look at that. Nice. But I want to make it a little straighter so that when I put the strapping on there, it makes it easier. So I'll do it one more rotation. And that should do it. So I hope none of you are taking bets on what's the chances of me dropping some of this hardware into the hole. Okay, that was successful. Amazing, didn't drop any in the hole. There we go. No seniors were harmed during this demonstration. Although now I've screwed up the angle of my augers, so I'm going to see if I can gently just turn it back. There we go. No harm done. I think it's getting into the 90s. I don't sweat easy, but yeah. Worst thing is when it gets into your eyes, but oh well, that's life. Well, it's a brand new day and we're making super progress, but I realized that my nut and bolt assembly that goes into the head of these ground augers is looking a little dry, so I just simply dip them in motor oil, and I think that's helped tremendously with not stripping these new bolt and nut assemblies that I bought the other day. So a couple of safety mentions, folks. It's really important that I learned, which could have been a bit of a disaster, and I pushed the start button on this impact wrench. Next thing I know, this thing is spinning and it's got my pants caught up in it, right in the interesting parts of the human body. And wow, I was like, whoa, this is not good. First off, turn it to setting 1, and then it's really slow, so not as much damage if you bump the trigger. But more important, set the setting between forward and reverse. Just, there's a middle click it there. And now, as you can see, there's no power going to it, and you're safe. So folks, I hope you can see what's going on here. It's only the center 2 rows of these cinder block piers that are going to get strapped down. So according to Arizona state regulations, a building like this, or a mobile home for example, has to have 6 ground augers on each side. So I'm doing that all to code, and I'm doing that even though I'm opt-out. I don't have to do to code, but in case I get this building or this home insured, then I can prove to the insurance agent that I've done everything to code. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take a risk this time, folks. I'm not even going to dig down into the earth. I'm not going to do any of the poking around there with a bar and loosening up the dirt. I'm going to put this on setting number 3, which is the most powerful setting on this impact wrench, and just go for it and see what happens. Worst case scenario, I should be able to reverse it and pull the stake back out. So wish me luck. Oh, and the other important thing is I'll have to watch really carefully that none of the nuts fly off of this rig or even get loosened. Oh, already coming apart. Okay, time to tighten her up. Okay, let's give her another go. All right, we do one more rotation and call it good. Well, success. I got them all in. Wasn't easy, but I got her done. So I briefly just want to cover the methodology that worked. Number 1, make sure you've got lock nuts and lock washers attached to your tool and the adapter. Number 2, you can start out on level 2 with your impact torque wrench, but shortly after you're going to have to go to level 3 to get the serious work done. And no matter how hard I tightened all of that up, it does seem to come apart during the process. So keep a close eye out to see if the nuts on the assembly are loosening. Stop, tighten them, go again. And number 3, if you got the DeWalt tool like I do, make sure you have enough powerful batteries to run that tool. For example, you might want to have about 3 6 amp hour 20 volt batteries to do the job. So I found out once you know how to do this, it's kind of a process like baking a cake, then it goes much easier. I hope those tips were helpful. So I'll show you a lot more detail in a future video, folks, but this metal strapping is what I'm going to use to attach the ground stakes or ground augers to these wooden skids. Actually, this is just a mock-up. I will have 4x6 skids that are brand new pressure treated ones, which I should be getting in a few days. So the strapping will just wrap around the skid there, and then it'll attach down here to the head of the ground stake. So these specific nut and bolt assemblies have a slit here made for the strapping. So once this strapping is tightened up and nice and secure, and this secured here to the beam or skid on the underside of my floor, then this should keep this from going anywhere. So hopefully that'll keep all the heavy winds from lifting my home. And you'll see a lot more detail as I put all this together in a future video. Well, folks, I took a little break from working on my home to do some other projects, but I know from hearing your comments that you really enjoy seeing me working on projects and watching some progress with the building and everything that's going on here. And we got lots more videos coming up, and I so appreciate you being here with me, and it's just so encouraging just to know that other folks are cheering for me as I continue to build my big house. And so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the old notification bell. That'll let you know when my next video is coming up. And thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.